Cancer, welcome to your weekly horoscope for May 4th to the 10th, 2026. My name's Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer. Cancer, as you move into this week, there's a strong sense that your outer world is demanding more of you, your attention, your decisions, and your presence. But underneath that, there's something deeply personal unfolding at the same time. It's almost like you're being pulled in two directions between what's happening publicly in your life and what you're feeling privately within yourself. At the beginning of the week, Mars in Aries is moving through your 10th house, forming a square to Jupiter in your first house in Cancer. This is a powerful and very visible activation. Mars in your 10th house is pushing you to take action in your career, your goals, your public life. You may feel a surge of ambition, a desire to move forward, to assert yourself, to make something happen. Mars rules your 5th house and your 10th house. So this is also tying in your creativity, your passion, your self-expression, and how that's being directed into your career and your long-term path. But as Mars squares Jupiter in your first house, this is where things can start to feel overwhelming. Jupiter in your first house is expanding your identity, your presence, your sense of self. You're growing, you're evolving, and you may feel like you're stepping into a bigger version of yourself. This can look like a situation where you feel pressure to take on more, to step up, or to prove yourself in some way. Opportunities may come in or expectations may increase. And while part of you feels ready, another part of you may feel like it's too much all at once. Internally, this can feel like a push-pull between confidence and overwhelm. You may find yourself thinking, I know I can do this, but why does it feel so intense? Or am I taking on too much right now? There can also be a tendency to overextend yourself, to say yes to everything, or to push yourself beyond your limits in order to meet expectations. If this energy is handled unconsciously, it can lead to burnout, frustration, or even conflict with authority figures or people in your professional life. You might act impulsively, make decisions quickly, or react strongly if you feel challenged. But when you work with this energy consciously, this becomes a powerful moment of growth. This is where you learn how to balance ambition with self-awareness. This is where you begin to understand that you don't have to prove your worth by overdoing. This energy is asking you to pace yourself, to be intentional about what you commit to recognize that growth doesn't require you to exhaust yourself. As the week continues, the focus shifts into your social world, your connections, and your long-term vision. Mercury in Taurus is moving through your 11th house and forms a square to Pluto in your 8th house in Aquarius. Now we are entering a deeper, more psychological space. Mercury here is bringing attention to your friendships, your networks, your collaborations, and the goals that you share with others. But Pluto in the 8th house is intensifying themes around trust, vulnerability, shared resources, and emotional depth. Mercury rules your 3rd house and your 12th house. So this is connecting communication and subconscious patterns to the deeper relational dynamics. This can look like a conversation or realization within a friendship or group dynamic that feels more intense than expected. You may begin to see certain dynamics more clearly, especially where there are imbalances of power, emotional investment, or even financial entanglements. You might find yourself questioning who you can truly trust or whether certain connections align with your deeper emotional needs. Internally, this could feel like overthinking, analyzing interactions, or trying to understand someone's motives. You may notice yourself replaying conversations or feeling emotionally triggered by something that seems small on the surface. If this plays out unconsciously, it can lead to suspicion, withdrawal, or power struggles within friendships. You might either avoid addressing what's bothering you or confront it in a way that feels intense or reactive. But on a deeper level, this is about transformation. This is about understanding the difference between surface level connections and deeper, more meaningful bonds. This energy is asking you to be honest about your emotional needs within your social world, to recognize where you may be giving too much or where something doesn't feel balanced. And at the same time, to communicate with awareness, not from a place of fear or control, but from a place of clarity and truth. By the end of the week, there's a noticeable shift into something more supportive and expansive. The Sun in Taurus, still in your 11th house, forms a sextile to Jupiter in your 1st house in Cancer. This feels like a moment where things begin to align. The Sun is illuminating your social world, your goals, your future direction. And as it connects with Jupiter in your 1st house, there's a sense of confidence, growth, and expansion in who you are becoming. What this can look like is you feeling more supported within your connections. Maybe a friend shows up for you in a meaningful way, or you gain clarity about the direction you want to move in. There can also be opportunities to connect with people who align with your growth, who see you, who support the version of yourself that you're stepping into. On a deeper level, this is about alignment between who you are and the future you're building. It's about feeling like your external world is beginning to reflect your internal growth. This energy is asking you to open yourself to support, to trust that you don't have to do everything alone, to allow yourself to be seen, not just for what you do, but for who you are. Overall, this week is a balancing act between your public life and your personal identity, between your social connections and your deeper emotional needs. It begins with pressure to act and perform, which moves into deeper realizations about your relationships and trust, and then settles into a space of alignment and support. You're learning how to grow into a larger version of yourself without losing connection to your emotional truth. And as you move through this week, the most important thing you can do is stay connected to yourself, not just to your responsibilities, not just to others, but to your own needs, your own pace, and your own inner voice. Because that is what will guide you through all of this in a way that feels aligned, grounded, and ultimately fulfilling. Cancer, thank you so much for joining me this week. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for your weekly astrology updates, and I will connect with you in the next one.